So right off the bat, we're gonna have to take this fuse out. It is fuse number 70. It is the fuel pump fuse, as you can see right there. So once you take that out, start the car, let it die on its own so it depressurizes the fuel system, so you can go ahead and start working on it. Now we're gonna let the car die on its own after starting it up. All right, so after the car has run dry and the fuel system has been depressurized, we're going to take this airbox out. However, this is slightly different than the OEM airbox, but regardless, we do have to take this off. There's not enough room in the back to work, so I'll go ahead and take that off. All right, now we're going to go ahead and remove this C-clip that connects to the hard line going into the fuel pump. So this is connected to the flexible line. We're just going to go ahead and remove this and pop this out. Just a quick reminder, be prepared for some fuel, as you'll see in the next clip, because unfortunately it won't be completely dry. All you gotta do now is just push this in and then go ahead and pop that out. So now we're gonna take this side right here and put this through the metal end and use this new C-clip that comes with it and tighten it up. I'll show you here in a minute. So all right, so now that the C-clip is in, we're gonna go ahead and just put this in afterwards. Go ahead and tighten that up. I found it easier to put the C-clip in first. All right, now I'll go ahead and tighten those up if I can get it in here. All right, so here is the filter, and here is the 180 fitting that goes onto the AN fitting, which sits on the hard line. So pretty much it'll look like this. So it'll sit like that, and then it'll do a 180. Yeah, so pretty much it'll just look exactly like this. So you can move it up and down to get some room. And once that's on there, this will plug into this. So we'll try to make it look a little bit cleaner, move it around a little bit, and go ahead and put that on. The first thing I try to do is just tighten this up, since there is absolutely zero room, since I've mocked it up already. So I kind of want to sit like this, so we'll go ahead and tighten it at this angle. You don't have to use an AN wrench, which I haven't done fully, but it won't really scuff it up. All right, so now that the 180 fitting is on, I'll go ahead and try to tighten this up as well. All right, so now that that's sitting over here, we're gonna take this nut off right here that connects to the ground wire, and that's where the bracket will sit, and we'll go ahead and try to put that bracket on. Be very careful not to drop it, which I almost did. I'm gonna leave that right there. Here is how that bracket looks, which will pretty much sit just like that. I mean, that's pretty perfect right there. All right, we'll just go ahead and hand tighten it for now. And then we'll go ahead and adjust it after we put this line on. All right, before we tighten anything up, such as the bracket itself, we're actually gonna try to tidy up a little bit, and then get this line to go top of the hard line. We'll go ahead and push that in. There we go. And take the C-clip you took off from earlier. Go ahead and connect that back. Make sure it's not going anywhere. Perfect. And now we can go ahead and put the back piece of the bracket on, tighten that up. Here is how the back plate looks like for this bracket, and there are 2 bolts that come with the kit. So I'm gonna try to line these up, hand tighten them. Okay, and the tricky part is going to be, actually, it might be easier to put this on first. Yeah, so it's actually easier to put this on first and then wiggle it around to put that on, because it's gonna be somewhat impossible to put that little bolt on in the back. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on first. And make sure to keep it loose and just get a hand tighten. Perfect. And then we can go ahead and tighten that up afterwards. Once that bracket is tightened up, we're gonna go ahead and put that ground nut back on. All right, let's go ahead and tighten this back up. All right, so here's how the fuel pump should sit after I routed this flexible line through the top of the hard line by going through the back. You can find a better way to route it, but this is the best way I found it. So this bracket can stay on there pretty good, and it lines up perfectly. Once that's on, we're just gonna pop this back in its place. There you go, and this should be good now. So now what we can do is put the fuse back on for the fuel pump, number 70, and then go ahead and crank it over before we put the air box on, so we could check for any leaks. Once that's done, we'll put the intake and the air box on. All right, so it should be. Let's go ahead and check for any leaks. All right, now we'll go ahead and put that air box back on. Make sure that's tight and doesn't go anywhere. That should be all for the installation. This is exactly how it looks sitting right behind the airbox. Super clean, out the way. You could barely tell it's even there. But that's it. As simple as that.